Guys, welcome back. It's awesome to have Bre and Dominique join us today. We thought on today's episode we would bring you a taste of Hyrox in the Middle East, following a super successful race at Sharjah at the weekend. Last weekend? Yeah, it's been a week now. Athlete Fitness, which is an incredible gym in Dubai. We've been on a few weekends, haven't we, to join their Hyrox class. They had the biggest turnout of competitors, and the founder of the gym, Michael Logue, won the men's pro with some incredible support. If you've gone onto his Instagram, you'll see everyone cheering him as he's finishing off the wall balls. So we're joined today by Dominique, who's Michael's fiance. She's a corporate lawyer who competes in the hybrid space and also jumps out of planes. So we'll have to find out a bit more about that. We've also got Bre, who's one of the coaches down at Athlete. She competed in her first ever Hyrox in Sharjah, putting down an impressive time in the mixed doubles. So girls, thanks for joining us. We obviously want to find out more both about you guys and Athlete as a gym and the Middle East with everything that's going on here. We know there's just been Sharjah this year, but Abu Dhabi's now been announced. So yeah, it's great to have you on the podcast. Thanks for making time for us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
We've actually got a couple of other races coming up as well. We're going to Mumbai in 2 weeks. There's about 30 people from the gym going. And then to Bangkok, there's 55 of us going.
Yeah, even more. Massive group.
More for Thailand. That's funny.
all before Abu Dhabi.
Oh, amazing. So it's really taken off over here. I feel like, I mean, just us trying to get a ticket seemed really difficult to compete in Sharjah. Do you mind giving us a bit of an insight into like how Sharjah went for like you guys as a gym? Bre, I know it was your first Hyrox. How did you find it and competing there?
I personally didn't really know what to expect. Like everyone, because I'm come more from like a CrossFit training background. So running was never something that I deemed as being my strongest point. So Hyrox was kind of something that I avoided for a while. And then I think with a mix of like working here and just the general global growth of Hyrox, like I was like, oh, fine, I'll give it a go. But yeah, Sharjah was such a cool first event. Like I think the setup was really good. I really enjoyed the my personal race with the guy that I was doing it with. But I think when we're coming from a community like we've got here at Athlete, and there's so many of us there, like cheering each other along, supporting each other, like it's just such a fun day to be a part of as well. Because no one, I think, and speaking for me, but no one that raced coming from Athlete felt like they were on their own. And I guess that's partly what Hyrox is all about, right? Like it's part of the reason why it's such a growing sport, because it is bringing people together, it's bringing communities together. Like there is something somewhere where everyone can get involved. And even people that are coming down just to spectate, like I think it's just so inclusive. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'll definitely be doing another one, put it that way. It didn't put me off. So and then I think the gym's performances as well, like we had loads of PBs, loads of people hitting PBs.
Loads of podium spots as well.
Loads of podiums, yeah.
It was really interesting to see how everyone kind of teamed off as well. So we had like lots of mixed pairs. We obviously did our relay. There was people, girls joining up to do like women's doubles, men's doubles. Then we had people doing solo races and then doing men's pro in the evening. Like everyone really got involved. There was a lot, like I think there was over 100 people we had sign up, like members competing. And there was a lot of podium spots as well, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah, really good.
But I think what was quite overwhelming was just to see, even when we were racing, how many people were wearing Athlete, like everywhere you turn, people cheering you. Like my last lap, I got a horrible stitch and started walking at one point, and then there was like 3 people cheering me, "Don't stop!" And then like the next bit was like, "Don't stop!" I was like, I actually can't stop because I'm being caught out. So
yeah, so there was nowhere to hide on the course. There was like always people watching. I was like, "Oh God!" Just heard my name coming from all different directions, and I was like, "Oh no!"
And you're the coach as well, so they're all there. I mean, you did amazing there. It was great because I think for you being your first one, like Michael's been wanting you to do one for ages because she said she's not a strong runner, but Bre is rapid and her ergs and all the stations like super quick. Like in the relay, Bre made a comment. She said, "Oh, I've never really used a 4 kg wall ball before, so I'll be really interested to see how quickly I can do the wall balls," even though she'd raced like 2 hours before. And I was like, "Do them unbroken?" She's like, "I probably could." And then she went on and did that. So
oh, amazing.
Yeah. I think as my background's like as a swimmer. So that was my background. So like put me in water and I'm very comfortable, but like anything on land where it's like running, it's just completely different to what I used to do, I guess. So, but yeah, just getting out of your comfort zone and doing it. Surprised myself at the time. So yeah, it was good.
There's actually like it's crazy you say you're a swimmer and your background's swimming, because there's quite a lot of swimmers that are coming through. I mean, like Alexander Ronkovic and like Lucy Davis. Like there's a big background of swimmers coming through and doing really well in Hyrox because of, I guess, the aerobic capacity and like the dedication it's taken for like athletes and swimmers as kids. You like train early in the morning, you train a lot during the week, and then it transfers quite well over to Hyrox, it seems.
Yeah. I think there's so many things that probably like filter into it from swimming, but I think like personally the dedication that it takes to be like an elite Hyrox athlete, especially like these guys are training twice a day, you know, sometimes 3 times. And when we were swimming, like even at the age of like 12, 13, 14, we're swimming twice a day. So in terms of just having that mentality towards the commitment and being quite open-minded to the amount of training that you need to do, like, you know how to make compromise and you know how to be dedicated and driven, if that makes sense. So it's something that comes quite naturally to a lot of swimmers. And then plus obviously there is obviously the years of, like you said, training where just your cardiovascular base is probably years ahead of anyone that is starting from scratch as well, which is definitely something that I underestimate, because when you come from being an elite athlete in one sport and then kind of like convince yourself that you're a novice of another, you don't actually realize how much your previous sport and life experiences do actually help contribute towards your fitness. So yeah.
And you're so strong as well, Bre, on the ski erg. I bet it doesn't even impact your run, and same with the row. And
I'm very just it's the same thing. It's just cardiovascular fitness. Like any ergs, like I absolutely love it so much.
You got the engine for sure.
And
the shoulders.
Yeah, they help too. Yeah, definitely the shoulders.
And then Dom, do you mind talking to us a little bit about when Athlete started up? Was Sharjah the first race that was on in the Middle East with Athlete running as a gym, or had there been
as a physical gym? Yes, Sharjah was the first Middle East race, but Michael, I moved to Dubai 2 years ago, Michael a couple of months after, so I was the reason for us moving over, and Michael started working across a couple of different gyms and started building up this athlete community very organically, just from being a really great coach, very inspiring, and really caring about people progressing from a performance perspective. He's not the coach you go to if you say, oh, I want a bigger bum, I want like a 6-pack. He actually says to the people who come to him for that, come and do my training, and hopefully that will be a byproduct of the performance specific training that we'll do. But yeah, he grew this community of people who wanted to train together with him, learn from him, and it became quite apparent that we need a space for us all to train together. So it's a bit corny, but we were saying, we were a gym before we were a gym, like we were a community before we had a home, sort of thing. So when Michael's business partner approached him about setting up a gym, saying like, you've already got a membership, like I've wanted to set up a gym for a long time, you've got everything we need to do that, like let's do it. It was a really amazing opportunity, and from day one of the gym being open, it's excelled. But the first race we did was Dubai, and actually that's how the athlete name came about, because his client said to him, even though he was a coach at other gyms, they said, we don't go to those gyms because we're going to those gyms, we go for you. So we want to race with your name on us. We want to give you credit. We want to put your Instagram handle like on our t-shirts. Can we get t-shirts printed? And Michael was like, really, I should set up like a bit of an online business or a name or something. So we were just playing around with some ideas. And I've always loved Michael's. He always says that everyone is an athlete. He always calls my mum an athlete, who I know my mum won't mind me saying this, is definitely not an athlete, but he makes her feel like she is one whenever they work, whenever they train together, or if he takes a like round pure gym in the UK, which is what he used to do. So like, why don't we just go with that? Like, it's super generic, but the twist on it is the 3, which is Michael's fundamental beliefs of what everyone should look to incorporate into their life generally, not just in training. And that's making sure you've got the right mindset, you're being kind to yourself, you're getting sleep, you're being, doing things that are important for your mind and your mental health, which in part for him especially is physical exercise, training. Body, looking after your body with the right food, sleep, rest, recovery, mobility. So not body how it looks, but how you're treating it and looking after it. And then performance is his big one of, if you have a goal in mind, even if it's something small like being able to run a 1K or your first 5K or a half marathon or a Hyrox race, if you focus on that and then incorporate those 3 things into your life, you can, which is what athletes do, become your own version of an athlete, or at least improve your life because you're looking after those 3 things. So that was where the name came from. And we played around with some logos. We found kind of the athlete with the 3, and then people were actually racing an athlete in the first Dubai race. So the first race in the Middle East was Dubai. People were racing wearing it. I was too. The logos changed slightly, but it was athlete coached by Michael underneath. And then there was Dubai again. Everyone was racing in that. And then we all went to Doha. And then 2 months later, the gym opened. So we did 3 races kind of as athlete, but without the gym. That's a very long answer, but it kind of came about.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like how it's evolved as such over the time.
It's nice because people wanted to wear it. People want to wear it. People are asking, we want to race in something. We want to show people like that we're all one team, rather than us having to ask people to wear stuff or, yeah,
it was very organic, wasn't it? Yeah. It was really cool actually. So we did a shakeout run on the Thursday before Hyrox, and there was like 50 odd people there.
Yeah,
there was a crazy amount, maybe like
on a Thursday morning.
On a Thursday morning, so that was the Thursday before Hyrox Sharjah. But then a few of the team that have been coached by Michael since last year, they've got the same like photo of the pre-Hyrox shakeout run.
Yeah.
And there was like 8 people there, maybe. So like just that growth in a year of the community that Hyrox has got, not Hyrox, the athlete have got together for Hyrox. It was like, oh my gosh, like no way is that only a year apart. Because it was the small little group versus the huge crowd. It was really cool to see.
Yeah.
A community is like, I mean, community is everything, and it's something that Hyrox is doing really well, which I think is, everyone will agree, is why it's growing so fast, because it's not just for elite athletes, it's for everybody, like every athlete, from your mum, Dom, to like all the way to your elite athletes. But community in the gym, I think it just shows how powerful building a community is versus I don't know, for example, a PT that's just in it to help people, maybe get the physique they want and that's it, like go do the session, move to the next one, and keeping everyone separate. Like building a community can probably get more out of everyone, and they can reach their goals and more than they thought they were going to do, because they're part of this community that's pulling them along. And I think you probably highlighted it at Sharjah when you both said everyone was standing around and you felt like you couldn't stop. And I mean, that's like the essence of the community, isn't it? And then next time people will want to go, and they'll want to be part of the branded athlete community to get that support. And it all like plays into performance. It plays into, I guess, like you said as well, like just encompasses the whole thing of like being healthy mentality, healthy relationship with physical exercise, and meeting new people as well.
And we have seen some incredible physical transformations as well. Honestly, we've got some mums with 3 kids with 6 packs, and like people you're looking at like, I want to look like you when I'm your age. Do you know what I mean? Like it's and you've had some clients as well who Bre's amazing, especially for almost like entry level. People with like lacking a bit of confidence, don't know how to do wall balls or how to be that efficient with skiers. And I've seen people come to Bre and not be able to really do anything and finishing a Hyrox at the weekend was a really good time, but also the physical like transformation of them, their confidence, but also like the way they've looked as well, like,
and their mindset as well. I've got one client, I mean, she won't mind me saying her name, I've got one client called Katie who had her first Hyrox race, and she came to me back in October and she was like, oh, I've entered a Hyrox, and I'm sure she won't mind me saying this, but she literally couldn't do a wall ball, she struggled to lunge her own body weight. And obviously, like, you're open-minded as a coach, but there's also that element of like being realistic. And it was something where I said to her, I was like, look, like, we'll get you there. But in the back of my head, I was like, right, okay, like, we need to make sure that we're ticking all of the right boxes and like really progressing quite quickly. And honestly, like, she did a doubles with her friend and they got the 122, absolutely smashed it. Really, really strong time, like managed to complete all of the stations with like more than enough competence. And yeah, that was a really proud moment as a coach. She absolutely loved it. But again, like, that's, I mean, part of the reason I coach personally is because I love them transformations and I love helping people achieve something that they never thought they would be able to achieve. So that for me personally as a coach was a really proud moment, but I know for her, like, she was really proud of herself, and now she's got the Hyrox bug, so now she wants to carry on, and she's doing Abu Dhabi and a few of the other races that are coming up, so training continues. But yeah,
because a lot of people try and put it off. They say, oh, I'm not ready yet, I'll maybe do the next one. Actually, so we keep saying, just book it, just do it, like, you'll be fine, we'll get you there, or worst case, you sell you ticket. But then actually people then realize they are ready, they do it, and then they really enjoy it. But I think that's why that community aspect, not just of Hyrox as well, but with the gym, is super important, because when you arrive to train, you're training with people who you really get on with, they're pushing you, we've all got similar goals, so it just makes that training a little bit easier and holds you more accountable. Like some sessions that Michael had programmed for me before the gym was open, when I couldn't make it to the locations because of work, I'd go to a gym and try and do it on my own. I'm not pushing myself that hard, because not because there's no one around me, but I don't have that mindset myself. So it just helped being around that. The other thing that was super cool was Burj to Burj, which is the half marathon from the Burj Khalifa to the Burj Al Arab. It was this year. We were approached by Burj to Burj themselves saying, we really want some strong communities to have a stand at the during the, not a stand, like an aid station. And we were like, they basically needed 30 volunteers, and we said, well, the bulk of our members are racing, so it's an incredible opportunity, but yeah, we'll put it out there, but we're not sure who's going to want to wake up at 4 a.m. to come and hand out water on the aid station. We had so many volunteers, yet there were so many people racing, and at the same time we still had a class running that Connor covered, and Connor messaged saying, I can't believe there's that many of you at Burj to Burj and we've still got a full class. So I mean, that says a lot as well.
And for anyone listening, the Burj to Burj, it's a half marathon, isn't it? Is it?
Yeah.
From Burj, they swap it each year, so it's you run from the Burj Al Arab to the Burj Khalifa, or the Burj Khalifa to the Burj Al Arab. And Athlete was the first aid station, so it was at the 5 kilometer mark, and it was super stressful, because if you can imagine, there's probably less gap between people at the 5K mark. So they were told not many people will stop for water because it's the first 5K and it'll be fine. They got, honestly, when I arrived, obviously much later than Michael and Bre and people like that, it looked like they'd all been mugged. Like, there was water everywhere. People's hair were like this, like t-shirts ripped off. It wasn't that dramatic, but that's what it felt like. But again, it was great and we had like speakers and everything, but there was no music playing because the time had run out and no one had the time to restart the playlist.
But it does just show, like the community and everyone coming together. People want to be involved, don't they? And like you just want to feel like you're part of something. And I think, like, I mean, we've not been in Dubai very long, but instantly, like a few people messaged us saying, "Oh, you have to go to Athlete. You have to check out Athlete. They've got a Hyrox class on a Sunday. You girls will love it. Like, you have to get down." And we were like, "Yeah." And then we like rocked up and we were like, "Oh my God, there's so many people here. Like, this is amazing." Like it was really cool to see such a strong presence and a like strong community, especially because Hyrox is a bit newer out here. You know, the UK, there's been like the Hyrox classes for years and years, and you know, there's an abundance of it. Like, but it was a really cool thing to see. No, go on. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, I think like if we bring it back to like why the community is so strong as well, like obviously Michael's amazing and we've built such a strong community, but I think as well, like another thing is when you're in the Middle East, like everyone that's out here is in some form away from their family. So I think the community like thrives and is partly so strong because the community turns into family. Like we're spending more time with the people that we see at the gym every day than we do with our family. So them connections grow really strong, really quite quick, because like I said, you're spending more time with these people that you're training with. Yeah, but you're not going home. Well, you're going home to your partner if you're not single, or even your small family if you're out here, but your extended family, you know, it's not just the people that you see when you train. We go out for food together. We go for socials at the beach. Like we go and do so many different things. Yeah, as part of a community, but it really does turn into family. And I think that's part of probably why Athlete has done so well as well, compared to maybe some communities that are in the UK, is because we do get quite, you get quite dependent on each other. Like we are very, as much as we are all independent people, we do love spending time together as a wider community outside of the gym.
And each of us have roles though. Like for the Burj to Burj, we needed someone to be there to meet like the Burj to Burj ambassador and to actually set up all the stand. And we were straight away, one of the members, we said, Asil, he's always up, he's super reliable, he knows what he's doing. Like he'll call him, can you do it? It's like calling a family, someone in your family saying, can you help us out with this? Absolutely, I'll be there. And of course he was there like 15 minutes early, like 3:30 in the morning. Like just super relaxed. And then we don't have to worry or be concerned because we were racing that morning, because we know it's all in hand. So
no, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I do think like anyone that's like maybe in the UK or somewhere like colder and like needs to get up early in the morning to train, like they just need to come to Dubai, because you get up early to go to like Kite Beach and you're like, how is so many people awake at this time training? Like it makes you feel like it's normal. I don't know, we spent a bit of time in London and like we'd get up early to go for a run, and you know, say 5:30, 6 a.m. you would see some runners out in like Hyde Park and stuff, not loads but some. Now you come to Dubai, you get up early like for the heat as well, you go to Kite Beach and there's just like an abundance of people doing fitness, and then going for like, they don't have to be running, they can just be walking, or they're getting like their coffee and walking along the Palm or whatever it is. But it's like, I feel like out here it just kind of makes you motivated to train.
I think it's a lot safer as well, not to kind of turn the conversation down that road, but like I never used to feel that safe running back home in Manchester. You know, you kind of, especially as soon as it's dark, and if it's dark at 6:30 p.m, like you finish work, it's dark before you start work, it's dark after. Genuinely here, I've never felt so safe. Like I feel like I could go for a run. In fact, there's a girl out here, she did a run through the night. I think it was a marathon or something.
I read,
Lily, Sarah's actually, so there's a girl called Sarah Sconley as well. She's doing 100k run through the night as well. She was on her own. She was going to do it through the day, but obviously with the heat, she was just like, I can't physically do it through the heat. Well, I'm sure she could have done, but she was just like, for my own mental sanity. So she's now running through the night, and she actually put a comment on like, as a female, it's such a privilege to be in a country where you feel comfortable to do that, because it's like Dom said, like in the UK there's so many, unfortunately, like there's so many risks that are involved with being a female on your own at night. Like out here it's just so nice to be in a country where you do feel safe on your own.
I think it is a really good point. I mean, I know people don't like always to bring it up and talk about safety, but it is something that I think anyone that's trying to fit in fitness or go for runs and like get their training done, unless you go to a gym back home, like as a female, and I'm guessing guys probably feel the same as well, because they're also, you know, it's not the nicest to go out at night and not feel safe. And I think definitely
even
around
silly things like wolf whistling. Like I've never been wolf whistled in Dubai.
Yeah.
And I think there's this misconception of, oh, well, you have to be covered up. You're on a public beach, you have to be covered. Absolutely not. I forget that I got into my taxi this morning, literally wearing the most skimpy like shorts and sports bra. I even thought like, this is actually disrespectful on my part, because I wouldn't do this like anywhere in the world, getting in a taxi this like skimpy. I was coming to the gym. But yeah, like it's fine. Like as you've seen down Kite Beach, you can run. I mean, guys run topless. We run in it and sports stuff. It's not like you can't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's just in certain places, obviously, like going to malls or going to like you obviously it's just the fitness scene, I guess. Yeah, is similar to back home or back to like we've just come from Australia and New Zealand. It seems very similar. To back there.
It's huge, the fitness scene actually in Dubai. I mean,
it's crazy, isn't it?
To see it, yeah. We're like not even in competition season right now, are we? And you could speak more about that. Like, and that's the great thing as well. Like Hyrox is just one part of many competitions out here now. Obviously, it's the growing competition, but there are so many competitions coming up.
Yeah. So when is the season?
All of those skills kind of still come into play, you know, efficiency on the ergs, wall balls, burpees, you see them all. Sorry, you're gonna
No, you just said it's not competition season. I'm guessing like because it's coming into summer and it gets so hot in Dubai, like the Middle East, so competition season's more in say UK winter.
Yeah,
like the same as like Australians.
It starts from like September, October time, and then runs through to round about now. Really, there's still some late competitions. Like there's one on the 3rd of May. We're hosting our first competition on the 10th of May. But you just notice generally, like as we go into the summer, if there are any competitions, they tend to be moved inside. Whereas a lot of the competitions, like the main bulk of competitions where I guess they can open up more spots for more people, is when the weather's cooler outside. So yeah, that's when we see like Turf Games comes over to Dubai, and we had a massive turnout there at Turf Games as well, didn't we?
So many teams actually.
So yeah.
And then do you have, on that note, do you have any like kind of training tips for people that are like living out here and it's now getting really hot? Like do you run on a treadmill? How are you planning to like kind of get to Abu Dhabi? Because when I saw that Abu Dhabi was announced and it was in July, I just thought, oh my God, that is insane. Like, because it's in the middle of summer. I know it's inside, but are people just training indoors, or do you have like tips for hot weather training?
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one, isn't it? Like everyone's got their own personal preference, and there are some people that, I mean, I call them psychopaths, but there are some people that genuinely can go outside and tolerate the heat a lot easier than others. I think generally, like as we move into the winter, like if you are getting up and running outside, it kind of just gets earlier and earlier and earlier. Like some people last year were waking up at like 3-4 a.m. just to go and get a run in. But I think, yeah, like a lot more running inside on the treadmills, and just looking after yourself a little bit more, you know, like you really can't test it too much. Like I think you've got to listen to your body, and if you start running outside and, you know, it's not happening, like just don't force it. And that's when you've got to kind of put safety in hands of, well, just, yeah, look after yourself a little bit more and make sure you're staying hydrated and all these different things. But like, even though it gets hot outside, all gyms out here, well, everywhere's air conditioned. So like, that's why I'm sat here in a hoodie now. Like, even though it's roasting outside, I'm currently sat here freezing inside. So yeah, like most gyms that you go to have all got treadmills, and I guess it is maybe like a psychological shift in your training, but I do believe that as long as you're getting the miles in on your legs and, you know, doing the work somewhere, like something's better than nothing. And there are some sessions, I mean, Michael might have a different view, but there are some sessions which can actually be well suited to a treadmill. Like personally, I find that when I'm doing like tempo sessions or interval sessions, like running, it's so much easier for me to set the pace on a treadmill and stick to it. And again, like there's probably some people that will argue, oh, well, the treadmill runs for you. But like that for me really forces me to stick to the pace that I need to stick to. Whereas if I run outside, then sometimes I might be a little bit softer on myself and just be like, oh, I'm going to slow down. So I think you've just got to use what you've got to your best advantage, really, and just do whatever works for you. Yeah.
We were still kind of running outside last year through the summer, but Michael's not a big fan of it. He wasn't running outside. in fact, when we first opened the gym, it was at the end of July. And previously we were always running outside during classes, and he didn't incorporate it into any of the sessions because he doesn't think it's good for you doing such a high intensity session and then going out to that heat and like, you know, the risks that can come with it. That said, like the early morning, like slow runs, like easy runs, we were still trying to do. A lot of people go back home for a while as well, go and work from home for a month too.
Yeah, we have got a lot of members traveling, so like there's a few people that, you know, take advantage of Dubai being such a central place to travel that they might go to like Sri Lanka for a week where the air quality is a lot better and they'll do some more running there, or Bali, Thailand, like, you know, people going on all these different fitness retreats. So and people going back to the UK, like Dom said. I think Michael mainly doesn't like the running outside because of your heart rate. It just spikes your heart rate unnecessarily, like, so it can make even an easy run feel harder than it should do. So I think it's more just making sure that when we are training outside, we're hitting the right training stimulus, if that makes sense, which I think you lose quite quickly just by running outside. So if you're looking to do like a zone 2 easy run, like when it's hot outside, your heart rate automatically goes into zone 3, zone 4. So you're not actually getting the correct stimulus that you need, which I think is the standpoint that Michael comes from.
He always says as well, you can get, like same with you with your swimming, you can build that aerobic capacity. It doesn't always have to be with running. Obviously everyone thinks it's the same with like the classes. People think, I'm signed up to do a Hyrox class, so I have to do the Tuesday evening Hyrox class and the Sunday Hyrox class and the Friday Hyrox conditioner. Whereas you and Michael are always saying you don't need to just do those sessions just because we label it Hyrox.
Yeah.
Every session you're doing, like we have a Wednesday engine class, for example, it's just done on the ergs, the row, the ski, the runner. And for example, this week we tested our 2 kilometer row, our 2 kilometer ski and our 2 kilometer run. In those classes, you're doing so much good for you, aren't you? Same with the strength classes.
Yeah.
Your deadlifts on a Thursday, like how important like that movement is, for example. But we're all like, oh no, we're doing Hyrox because it's the Hyrox class.
Yeah.
So
I think that there is a lot of talk now around, I think probably when Hyrox first kicked off, everyone's like, I need to do Hyrox. And to a certain extent, if you're somebody that's never done the movements and you've got a race coming up, like, of course. And you do need to still practice the Hyrox movements, but maybe like moving away from them and just becoming like strong and also building your aerobic base. Like separately, you don't actually have to do, well, it's been proven, hasn't it? Like doing Hyrox all the time is not going to get you better at Hyrox. You'll get some gains at first and then you're just going to plateau.
I think that's why you're seeing the transfer of so many like CrossFit athletes as well coming over and doing so well in the sport, because like, Hyrox, the foundation of Hyrox is actually like really basic movements, right? So if you can be super strong and efficient in those movements, then, you know, that's how you're going to perform well. And I think because Hyrox style of training like kind of ticks boxes in every area, like you've got your cardiovascular fitness, you've got your compound lifts, you've got your Olympic lifts, you've got, you know, all the, even the gymnastic strength where you are kind of like, you know, working on your shoulder mobility and just your holistic kind of strength as an athlete. I think that's why you're seeing it being quite transferable from that to the other. So I think, like that's one thing that we do try and paint the picture to the members here is that, like Dom said, you know, if you want to get better at Hyrox, actually just doing the Hyrox classes is going to get you so far, but you do need to be like focusing on your lower strength components, your upper strength components, your even like barbell components. Like everything that we offer here as a gym is tailored towards make you a holistically better athlete, but then in turn, obviously that will filter into your Hyrox performance. So yeah,
definitely. And then I was gonna ask about the skydiving in a minute, so don't let me forget, because I definitely have to touch on the adrenaline junkie bit. But I was gonna say, for both of you, people when we've had them on the podcast have often said that the relay is the most horrendous race because it's like the shortest, most intense like spurts. I was just wondering your opinions, if you preferred like your mixed doubles race, Bre, or the relay, or what like hurt more?
Oh God, psychologically, like, I mean, I loved the relay.
It was so fun.
It was fun. Yeah. I think Yeah, it's just so fun. Like for me, I view myself as being more suited to the shorter sprint bursts. Again, like coming from CrossFit background and not really like, again, psychologically viewing myself as a runner, knowing that I only had to do a K and then a station and then get a rest. Like it was a lot less pressure, I guess, in my head. Like I was like, yeah, I can do this. So it was a lot more fun. I think, yeah, the intensity, like when we come in from high-fiving each other, we were there like in the warm-up area, like on the floor, like rolling around. I think the intensity that you get
when you get back.
Yeah, like once you get back in and you know you've got to go again. But yeah, I just think when you've got a good team of girls, like we're all just cheering each other on. Like I think a relay, there's something to be said about how hard you push yourself, and probably competing in a mixed doubles as well, or any form of doubles. Like I know for me personally, if I'm in a team, I'm always going to step up that little bit more than I probably would do if I was on my own. But yeah, the relay.
And we all had tired legs because we'd all raced that day. So just to give an insight, Garda, Kate, did they win their double?
Yeah.
They did the mixed one. Amazing time. I think they did it in like
an hour. They did it 1 hour and 14 seconds.
She's
just
unbelievable.
She's so good.
So she was obviously tired. You'd done your mixed doubles as well. Susie had just won her age category for the women's doubles open, and they'd also I think came second overall or third overall.
Yeah, they did amazing.
I didn't have a podium to gloat about, being the weaker of the group. My legs, and actually, to be fair, I'd been there since like 8 a.m. watching everyone and filming everyone, and it was like 15 minutes after Michael finished his race. So it went from being like the video of Michael doing the wall balls, I'd snuck behind. I mean, there's loads of photos. I'm in the background of all of his photos on the finish line, because I'd like snuck round so I could film from up close and get him on the stage and everything, and to film like everyone watching as well. So my legs were super tired too from that, and from doing a solo myself. But I was also aware that I was definitely the weaker one in the team, but I was the one who had the ticket. So I, by default, was in the team. And then I built this strong team around me, thinking like, we'll win. But then I realized, but I'm going to have to step up as well, because when Garda, which she will, goes through the times at the end, it can't be who's this slow runner and who messed up the farmer's carry.
No, but Dom needs to give herself more credit, because genuinely, like when we looked at the splits at the end, which everyone does, you get so much data in Hyrox, don't you? So of course you have a nosy, even if you say you're not bothered. We were all the same time. Like you say you were the weakest link, but your run was as fast as everyone else.
So maybe you hated the relay the most then, Dom, because you really put yourself under pressure to sprint your heart out.
I knew I had no chance in my solo, but I knew we could win the relay. Like I really felt we could. But so I am very, very competitive, and I think there's a chat. When I think there isn't, I just have fun, and I take all the pressure off, and I just enjoy it. So my solo, like running around, waving, smiling, like laughing, all of that. And then the mix, there was just so much, but I liked that because I knew we had a really good chance of winning. And also we did a girls relay in Poland when we all flew over to Poznan, and we came second in that. We did Doha and we came second in that. So it's like, we need a first place. But there was a very strong girls team, a rugby team, actually. I forget the name of the rugby team. And I was like eyeing them up, like, I think they could beat us. And Garda was worried they could beat us as well. And we were all getting really competitive. So no, it was, for me, it was the best bit of the day, even above seeing Michael get his.
I also again, I know we've already mentioned it, but it was my first Hyrox race, and my race with Evan, who my partner was, I'm not going to say I loved the process, because during it, I was like, what am I doing? Like, it was hard. And because I didn't really know what to expect. And me and Evan had never done, I've never done a Hyrox race, but we'd never done a race together. So his running, he was dragging me around. Like, he was running like 5-10 meters in front of me, like obviously waiting for me when we got to the rock zones, but he was very much like pulling me along. And psychologically, being a competitive person, because he was running so far away from me, I was literally in my head like, you're not doing good enough, you're not keeping up with him, you're holding him back, you're off your pace. So my actual, something to probably be said about this psychologically, but my self-talk to myself while I was actually competing was quite negative. So I wouldn't really say that I enjoyed the race. So when we finished and I saw the time, I had a little bit of conflict. I was a little bit, oh, that's a good time. But I just told myself that I'd done really badly. So it was a little bit like weird to process. But I think now, obviously, I think that's why it's good to stay with the same. If you are doing doubles, like it's enjoyable to stay with the same partner, because now when we do a race again, hopefully together, I know that when that happens, it's okay, because I'm not holding him back. He's just pulling me along kind of thing. So yeah, I think the next one will definitely be a lot different. But yeah, for that reason, I enjoyed the relay much more.
I'm supposed to be doing mixed doubles with Michael in Bangkok, which is just a terrible idea because our run times could not be further apart. And he's like, right, Dom, if you actually want to take this seriously, we need you to work on your 1 kilometer split. All I need you to do is to be running this pace for each kilometer, and I'll do all the station work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this could be the end of us. Like it's something I've joked about doing a race with him for so long, that when he actually got the ticket, I was like, why are you doing that? Like there's so many other people you could race with and you could get a really good time. I'm like, you don't want that on your CV. And he's like, no, it's fine. Because actually it won't be, I mean, it'll be a fine time, but it won't be like a time he could get if he was doing it with Bre, for example.
No, you need to.
But then I think like
it will be funny though. I'm thinking of like miking us up for it and like documenting the race. I actually think could happen.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so good. I think
but
that's
like a race with someone who normally runs 5:30 kilometer pace.
Yeah, but I think that's the nice thing about like a Hyrox race is that everyone can do it, and everyone can do it with anybody. Like you get like mums and daughters doing it, and like dads and daughters, and
did one with my dad on his 60th.
Yeah. Amazing.
Oh,
like
it
isn't always about
15 actually, 1 hour 15, which I was really happy with. But I was the one slowing him down again. He's very good, my dad, actually.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though. It is like you say, you can do so many different versions of the same race, which is really nice. And then like I know you're saying you don't know why Michael wants to do it with you, because he could maybe get a faster time with a different partner, but maybe it'll actually be really nice for him to enjoy it and have a bit less pressure and just like race with you and have good fun out there. Like I think it's a really nice way to be able to compete, but not have to always like really compete as such. Right.
Yeah.
You'll see us on the farmer's carry. I'll be on his back and he'll be carrying the farmers. Just give me a bit of rest. Because he was
sitting on the sled as he's pulling it, just
yeah. But he's excited because he said, I've never used the open weights before. So like Bre with the 4 kilo wall balls, it would be interesting for him to use a 6 kilo wall ball rather than the 9. But yeah, because I was like, oh, that would be perfect because I'll have loads of rest and then I can push my kilometers. But he said, but it won't be that much rest because the sleds, it'll be a couple of minutes.
It'll be
the
faster.
Carry, it'll be a minute. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true. Like
the farmer's carry, nothing actually prepared me for how fast the farmer's carry was, because that was exactly
you chasing.
That was mine and Evan's like plan, was like him. I mean, I'm strong on the station, so I still wanted very much to like pull my weight, but the plan was that he obviously like protects me a little bit more, so he does more of the stations, and then my focus is like just running as best as I can. But yeah, like when we got to the farmer's carry, like he's there like he's running so fast with the kettlebells, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't even get a rest. I'm having to chase him like just as fast as I was running, and I was like, oh god.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. I think it was whether it was our first race or our first pro race, I'm not sure, but nothing prepared me for that farmer's run. I was like, I basically just run like through the whole thing. I was like, this is not what I signed up for.
Literally.
Where's my rest? I thought it was going to be the easiest station, and I actually think it backfired to be like the hardest station.
Literally.
I'm very much with you, but well, I'm going to touch on the skydiving before we go on to the cheeky insights. So are you just an adrenaline junkie, Dom, or what's the deal?
Yeah, no, skydiving is just something I really enjoy doing outside of everything else. Me and my brother did a tandem for his birthday, like probably about 4 years ago now, and really enjoyed it. And we're like, we could do this all the time if we wanted to. It's very easy to get your license, actually. So we did that, and then I just became a bit obsessed with it, to be honest, and would travel quite a bit in the UK to skydive at weekends. and then naturally dragged Michael into it as well. Even though he's been in the Marines and done some really like cool, scary stuff, he had the opportunity to learn to skydive whilst in the military and said no because he's scared of heights, even though he's a mountain leader. But then I was like, but how are we going to ever see each other if I'm skydiving every weekend and you're not? So he learned too. And then coming to Dubai, you can skydive so much more frequently because you've got better weather. And Skydive Dubai has like 2 drop zones and 3 planes at each drop zone, so you can jump super regularly. And actually quite a few of my friends do Hyrox skydive as well. So Jess Towell, who is in the Elite 15, I met her in the plane on my first jump in Dubai. She's the one who opened the door and said, enjoy. And then afterwards, like, she followed me on Instagram, and I said to Michael, I was like, this is a really like fit girl who skydives. You should like check her out. Like, maybe you could go and work for the gym she's at. And they've become friends since, and they've competed together. And obviously she's an absolute beast in everything she does. Same with skydiving as well. She's unbelievable. So, but skydiving is very similar with the whole community thing as well. And Darren, who was Garda's partner, also a skydiver. So yeah, there's a big fitness kind of community within skydiving as well. But yeah, no, it's something I love. I do it as often as I can. Michael's calming it down a bit because obviously he doesn't want an injury. In fact, Jess, before her Hyrox race, dislocated her shoulder skydiving, trying to turn her risers.
It's I mean, it's incredible. She still competed and got like a 104 or something. And she'd only dislocated her shoulder like a few weeks before. I remember she messaged us going, girls, I don't think I'm going to be able to do Sharjah. I've just done my shoulder. And then she was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I think I can do it. I was like, oh my god, like, and we were watching, weren't we? And we were like, she was on the sleds, and we were like, oh come on, just get through the sleds.
I was like, it's gonna be so painful. Or like the burpees. I was like, oh god, that is not what you need.
Ski. I was thinking if she was struggling with the guys to turn her parachute, because you know she had to land. So if you imagine, you have to pull both risers down at the same time to keep your parachute level to land, but she couldn't pull it down on one arm, so she couldn't effectively brake. Imagine like not being able to park a car without being able to put your brakes on.
So she just had to crash.
And you're relying on slowing down in your car. So she landed in the sand. She was very lucky she didn't do like damage to her back or
but it's like parking your car but from the sky.
Really
fast, plummeting towards the earth. Like
on the biggest shoulder like this.
I mean, we still need to get Jess on. We keep trying to make it work, don't we? And it's not work, but we will make it happen. And I think after that we need to get her on to give us a lowdown. Yeah, it's quite good, but yeah, flipping now. You guys, it's like a different. You guys are all just built differently in Dubai, I swear. I've come out here and I'm like, everyone's just like, I don't know, just for it. Like everyone's like buzzing for everything, and it's quite nice. It's like I almost feel like sometimes you go places and people are a bit held back or a bit like, whereas I feel like here everyone's just like absolutely buzzing. Like everyone's motivated. Everyone's like, and I don't know whether it's the sun. I don't know whether it's like the access to everything. I don't know, but it's got such a good vibe.
I think like exactly what you said. I think everything is so accessible here. Like there's so many things to do out here. And I think once you find a passion, I mean, we're obviously based in the fitness industry, but there's like loads of things on TikTok where I think especially when people are like thinking about moving to Dubai, there's loads of misconceptions that Dubai is just like bougie, partying, like, you know, beach clubs, like Dubai girls kind of thing. But actually like you can genuinely make Dubai into anything that you want to make it. But yeah, I think that's why people are so up for it, just because of one, the opportunity, but again, linking back to what I said earlier, like the family side of things, like we're not with your normal family and friends. So a lot of people have moved to Dubai and have had to put themselves out there in order to make new friends. So I feel like people are more willing to have a conversation with you if you've only just met them, because everyone's kind of of the same mind, where it's like, oh, like I'll speak to this person because like not even, it's just a subconscious thing, isn't it? But you are just, I feel, a lot more open to get to know anyone and everyone, whereas in the UK people are a lot more like quiet, reserved, less likely to open up for the sake of doing. I
think the system works really well here as well, and I think whenever you look into how Dubai was actually founded and became what it is, it's from leaders who are, they're saying we want everything to be possible, and we want to give our people the best. We want to be the place that people want to live and work. So how can we make sure that all of that runs effectively? How can we make sure healthcare is done properly, like so people aren't, you know, waiting for ages to see their doctors? How can we make sure that the schooling is great? Like, and that's quite inspiring to be a part of, because instead of hearing, like my sister's a doctor in the NHS and she works so hard, and whenever I speak to her, it's sad hearing like how, you know, little junior doctors are paid, how little staff there are, how under-resourced it is. And I want to come back to the UK eventually. You know, it's home, and there's so much good in the UK. It's not bashing the UK at all, but it's really refreshing to be somewhere where the system's just kind of working and people aren't complaining, so that you wake up and you do feel like empowered, and there are these options and possibilities, and everyone's generally quite.
It's a very driven environment. Like, I think everyone here works hard in whatever it is that the field that they're working in. Like, it's a working city. Like, it's very hard to be in Dubai and not work for a few various reasons. Like, obviously there's the visa and stuff, but like the cost of living out here and everything. So I think you get a lot of highly aspirational people here and a lot of highly driven people here, which then obviously filters down. If, you know, if you're a highly aspirational driven person, then in your career, then you're probably likely to be that again in your hobby. So if that happens that your hobby's fitness, then your personality is going to feed into that. And I think that's why when you go to like the fitness competitions as well, you have got a lot of passionate people, because yeah, they're just passionate about what they do generally. So yeah, it's a good environment to be in.
Even my boss this morning is a part of the equity of a global law firm. He was training this morning at the gym, like that, like you're working for people who also take their fitness and their health as seriously as they do their work. And like that for me was quite surprising to be like, oh, my boss does CrossFit, he can do toes to bar and all that, like, you know. So I think Dubai is really great for all that, but I do think fitness and health is taken very seriously, but also by like the leaders as well. Like they have in is it November or October?
No, 30-30. So there's I think called 30-30 in October, where it's like a government initiative that you basically do 30 minutes of activity or exercise every day for the whole month of October. So like I used to work in a school events, like down at the beach, there's the whole of Kite Beach is basically taken over. They have like spin bikes at the beach, they have like steps for like a step class, they have like a general workout area where they put on like fitness classes, they contact different like fitness influencers and PTs to come down and lead things and take classes. And there's loads of different runs and stuff that goes on, and like even down to like foundational levels in the school, like a lot of the schools have to put on events every day to show that they're honoring the 30-30. So yeah, I think like physical health and like just being active is something that it comes from the top, and it's being pushed at the foundational level as in the best way it can be.
It's so cool.
It's very interesting. Yeah. No, it's good to like hear about, and I think it's a lifestyle, isn't it? Like it is, and you have to make fitness and health part of your life, and I think that's what's like doing so well out here, and it's cool to see. Should we go on to the last? We usually finish off with 8 questions. It's kind of like a quick fire round. You can both answer, or you can give it to one or the other to answer. It's just super chill about Hyrox. But the first one is, what shoes do you wear to race Hyrox?
I wear Pumas.
Yeah, I wore the oh my god, why can't I speak? I wore the Puma DV8 Nitro Elite 3s that were really cool.
Michael swears by his Sauconys though.
Yeah,
he loves his.
Sauconys are really hard to get hold of out here. I wore them for the Burge to Burge. The Endorphin Pro, God, the name of them all, it's like the Endorphin Pro 4s, I think. I wore them for the Burge to Burge. I absolutely love them. And then tried to get a hold of a pair for my Hyrox, and I just couldn't find any. So I wore my Pumas. Still great trainers, but yeah,
they're definitely the 2 favorites, I think. Okay, next one. I mean, Bre, maybe not so much for you because you've only raced in one venue, but Dom, do you have a favorite Hyrox venue that you've raced in?
It's maybe not the venue, but the trip to Poznan that we did was such a fun trip. The venue was kind of cool. Oh, I'm sorry, venue. Birmingham was great as well. But Birmingham felt a bit scary, actually. Like, it felt a lot more serious, felt more tense. Like, it wasn't as fun or as relaxed as like Poland. So actually, I'm going to go with, I really liked Poznan, which is probably a surprise. Oh, Dara was good though as well. No, they all have their own fun thing. I'll say Poland because no one else will probably say that.
Okay, next one is, which is your favorite Hyrox station?
I don't know. I like them all, to be honest. I think for me personally, the ski or the row, just because I'm so strong on the ergs, so I can use that to my advantage to probably still hold like a faster than average pace at not as much of a high effort. So yeah, that's my favorites.
I'd probably say the row as well. It's the only time you get the chance to sit down in a Hyrox race unless you fall over on the sled pull.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better at the sled push, so maybe that one. That was my best station this time. So
row or the sled push. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, next one. If you could do a doubles Hyrox with anyone in the world, who would you choose?
I'd probably do one with Jess Town. Have her drag me around. Yeah, yeah.
Skydive team.
Michael, should I say Michael? No, I'd make a really badass relay team of like Michael, Jess. You'd obviously be in there too, but like we've done one now. Michael, Jess, Garda, yeah. So, team like that.
Yeah, I think mine's probably a little bit more boring. I'd love to rewind time and do one with my granddad. Like, he's still with us, but I think if Hyrox was around like 10, 15 years ago, I think it would have been really cool to do that then, just because it is so accessible and it is literally bringing family members together and like it's getting families fit and active together. Whereas normally it might just be like one person out the family is doing training for something. But I think because Hyrox is so accessible, like there's so many people within a family that are doing it. Like Dom just said, she did one with her dad. So I think personally, if I could go back time, I'd do one with my granddad and give him a little bit of purpose, because I feel like that's the great thing that Hyrox is doing.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's awesome. My sister came to watch Sharjah, didn't she? And I was like, come on, Steph, you need to do one. And she was like, oh God, Faye, think of like, and my sister's really sporty. And she was like, think of someone really unfit and then just like multiply it. And that's me right now. I was like, okay, well then there's still time. I was like, come on, you need to get involved. I thought she might get the bug when she was there. And I reckon she did a little bit, didn't she?
A little bit. I think a hint. And then I think she was like, oh God, that a lot of those people look like they're really struggling.
But again, I think that's why Hyrox is doing so well. Like, sorry to go off on a tangent, but like Hyrox isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So this is potentially a sport that, like, obviously we're the age that we are now, but like I'm sure if we wanted to, there's scope for us to continue it for the rest of our lives, like the way that it's been on. Like, so it is so, you know, people say now, oh, I'm not ready. It's like, well, you will be at some point. So yeah,
100%.
How fast or slow you go as well. I'm really trying to encourage my mum, if you're listening to this, still want to do it, to do one together, but we would probably walk all of the kilometers together, just chat, do the stations, you know, doesn't matter what time we pick. Because she'd be really good on the stations and she can walk fast when she's in a bad mood. Especially.
Yeah, like power walk. I mean, we tried, like, I had a nightmare at Sharjah and I found out yesterday that I've actually like torn my tendon in my heel, which explains why I was in so much pain. But we stopped and then I like took my shoe off. I was like, Emma, I've just done something to my heel, like it's got worse. And then I took my shoe off and I was walking along with like one shoe on, walking around the run track trying to get out, and I was like, we need to stop, but I just couldn't get out the run track, and we were just like couldn't escape, could we? I was like, we're trapped, we're in it. Like, I can't get out of the race.
I was like, this is like a walk of shame, like trying to leave the like track, and this girl's like, are you okay? And I was like, oh yeah, we're fine. And then after a while Faye was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just carry on. And I was like, it was almost like we were forced to continue because we couldn't get out of there. But it was but
even walking it, like we just moved to the side. Yeah, we moved to the side. Granted, I had one shoe off and one shoe on, but we just were walking around the side, and it didn't make any difference whatsoever. To be honest, if anything, people gave us more encouragement. I was like, oh, everyone's been really nice. But then, I finally put my shoe on. So I feel like it actually really doesn't matter. You still get the same. And then we finished it just like steady, just. So it was mainly the runs that I couldn't do very well. But like,
what point in the race was that happened to you?
After the sled push.
Oh wow! Oh gosh,
yeah,
that's quite a while after then.
Yeah, no, it probably wasn't my wisest decision to carry on, but like we can gloss over that. But I blame the fact we couldn't get out. But I think it definitely gave us another perspective on doing the race, because we've never done a race and just like enjoyed it and been present. Usually you're like really in a zone and you're just doing your own thing. You don't hear anyone, you don't see anyone. Whereas actually just being there, being around on the track, like I don't know, it was quite nice. And I thought like nobody cares. And everyone's at different levels, and even if you're just walking or just jogging around the outside, everyone's buzzing. It's like, so I really do think, I know like you're saying people are saying they're not ready, but I do think like just do one, because like there's so many different abilities there, and nobody you're all doing the same thing. Just tick it off and just be part of it.
Like, just not caring about social comparison. Like I've had the same conversation about like with a few clients in the gym that are always like, oh, I don't want to get, like the first one, I don't want to get an embarrassing time. And I'm like, what's an embarrassing time? Like, you know, completing one is amazing no matter how long it takes you. And I think that's probably like one of the maybe possible negatives of Hyrox is how many people do it. And because you see, obviously on Instagram, everyone's For You page is like filtered to show you the top like 1% of the world. So, you know, you've got complete novices that are looking at like elite athletes posting such big times, and they're like, oh my God, I could never do that. But actually, like what you said, when you go to one and you go to the experience of actually dropping it down to that level of just doing it to participate, like it's for everyone. But I think, like I sort of just said, like the rise of Instagram and social media might put people off, because from the outside looking in, it can be viewed as intimidating. But when you actually go and be in the environment, it's actually the complete opposite.
I went into work and told people what I'd been up to over the weekend, and some people had actually seen it on their Instagram, had seen Michael, because the video kind of took off quite a bit. And they were like, you did that, like 8 kilometers, and then you would do it 1 kilometer on the rower. I've never done a kilometer on the rower. Like, and actually when you put it into perspective, it's a lot. So I might like bash myself because I'm looking at Bre and Michael and Jess and looking at their times. I'm like, but I only did this, I'm only doing that. But actually I shouldn't really do that, because that's then putting down people who do it slower as well, and actually just complete it, because it's a lot to get through no matter how long you do it. It's like a half marathon or a marathon. It's 100%. Incredible to even be finishing these races.
And you finish with 100
says about like even start like just doing it, you're already a winner.
But it is
out
true
there in the first place.
Totally. Like just doing 100 wall balls at the end is like, that's like no joke. Like most gym sessions before Hyrox, so you'd go into the gym if someone said, like a PT went, right, knock out 100 wall balls, and then everyone would be like, get lost. Whereas now it's like part of a race that everyone just doesn't even, I don't know, but like no one cares what you get. And there's so many Hyrox races, I don't think anyone can even remember your race. Like you always look at your race more than everybody else, but no one really cares what Faye and Emma did in Sharjah 2 weeks ago. Like everyone's on to the next one or on to whatever they did. Like I think
I almost didn't race for that reason though, because it got to my time, it was like 4 p.m, I had 40 minutes left, and I was like, no one would know if I just didn't do the race. Like, everyone's so busy doing their own. If they came up to me afterwards like, how was your race, or next week, like even now you guys ask me how my race was, I could be like, yeah, it was good, it went well, I enjoyed it. No one would even know, because no one, guaranteed no one's looking up my time, but people probably will now to check that I actually did it. I almost did it.
Poznan was great. Everyone's like, was she actually in Poznan?
I'm just taking videos of them all.
Okay, we went off on a slight tangent. No, that's good, it's good. But my next question is about fueling, and do you take anything during your Hyrox race, and if so, what do you take and when do you take it?
We actually did, I did a presentation on this for all the athlete members before we actually, in the lead up to Sharjah, just to try and educate members. I personally didn't, but that's just because I didn't expect, not sounding big-headed, I just didn't expect to be running for that long. I think obviously with the fueling, like there's scientific evidence that if you're competing for like longer than 70 minutes, then it's probably recommended. But if you're competing for less than that, then it's not necessarily needed unless you do feel like you do genuinely fatigue and if you've not fueled beforehand anyway. Like in the Burge to Burge, for example, when we did the half marathon, like I 100% fueled after the first 45 minutes and then every like 20 minutes or so until I finished. But yeah, like the recommendation that we said was like, if you are going to fuel, like fuel mostly on the row, just because it's probably the easiest station to get something in and you are halfway through then, right? So yeah, personally, I didn't fuel, but it's something that I would be open to if I was expecting to do a longer race. Yeah.
I know Michael had gel before and a gel on after the row.
Yeah.
And he said actually, I mean, his race was obviously under the hour, so it probably didn't actually kick in for him. But he said mentally it really gave him a push. So even the mental aspect of having some fuel helped him. I didn't fuel either, but biggest mistake was not fueling after my solo before the relay, because I did the first run and then the ski, and when I was on the ski, all I was thinking was how hungry I was. So weird. I was like, I felt empty, I felt zero energy, and I was like, I've got a kilometer ski now. And it really was just because finished the solo race, immediately went to watch Michael's race, then immediately went to get the relay briefing, and then we started. But it was a mistake because I mean, obviously it didn't impact us and it was fine. It was just a fun relay at the end. But I think just a note for anyone who's thinking of doing a couple of races, really plan out before what you're going to have food wise or water. Like there was also, we ran out of water, I think.
Yeah.
So
I was very dehydrated going into the, we got so carried away watching everyone, didn't we? Like watching Michael and stuff, like Dom already mentioned, but I was like in the Michael bubble, like, oh my God, amazing. And then I looked at my clock, at my watch, and I was like, we're racing in 15 minutes. I was like, I need to go and warm up. But it was very much like, yeah, probably didn't prioritize fueling and hydrating enough before the relay as much as we would have done if it was an individual race.
But it's interesting because some people will do that themselves for their solo race. So they'll think, oh, well, I normally train fasted, so I'll be fine. And if that's how I felt, you know, I know I'd done a race before, but I do think it's an important lesson of making sure you do fuel well before. And I took your advice in terms of the amount of carbs to have before my solo race, and like reducing protein, for example, because then you feel fuller and you don't want to feel heavy, like all these tips that you gave us all. And that really meant that in my solo race, I didn't feel like that at all. I felt fueled, I felt good energy, and I didn't actually need to fuel during mine, I don't think. But then compared to the relay where I was running on empty, I really felt that. And obviously it was only a kilometer and only a kilometer on the ski.
And I think for each person's different, right? And I think for each person, it's just a massive trial and error as well. Like what the main piece of advice that I gave was like, if you are planning on fueling, don't do it for the first time this weekend. Like make sure that you've practiced it in training, make sure that you've got experience with it. You know how the gels or the sweets react with your body and how it's going to make you feel. So yeah, I think I personally definitely need more experience with fueling if I am going to fuel in the middle of a Hyrox race, because it's not something I make sure that I'm fueling before my sessions properly, but it's never something that I do during. So yeah, I probably need to gain some more personal experience before I feel confident enough to do it actually in the middle of a race as well.
Good advice there, especially with the Hyroxes can be chaotic when you're spectating as well and racing, and pre-planning can definitely help, like for if you're doing more than one race for sure as well. Awesome. Okay, next one, I've just got two left, is in a nutshell, why should someone sign up for their first Hyrox?
Oh gosh, I think just to, like, for me, like if I'm coming on to my own advice, like I was very much didn't think that I would enjoy it. And I think just because to prove to yourself that you can do some hard things, like I think you push yourself so much and it is bloody hard. Like I think to then have that self-reflection of just a sense of accomplishment and feeling like you've done something hard and done a challenge, like I think that feeling is really positive and just helps in all aspects of life. Like just knowing in the back of your head that you can do hard things and you can step up, I think is really powerful and empowering as well. So yeah, I think that's why I'd encourage people to do it, is to just go and prove to yourself that you can. And then even if you never do one again, at least you can say that you've done one. So yeah.
I'm always just like a yes to most things, to be honest. I always think like you'll never regret doing something unless it's obviously bad for you. Like you'll only ever regret like the things that you didn't do. So I just think like, why not? Like as long as you take the pressure off yourself and you don't don't overthink, you're not hard on yourself, like why wouldn't you? And go and experience it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I'll remind you of that when you're chasing Michael round 1Ks. You won't regret it.
I think I've just thought of something to answer that question actually as well. Like, I think it can, like Hyrox in general is giving so many people a purpose.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just giving people that extra purpose to maybe like their 9 to 5 and their family life. And it's just, fueling people's lives. So I think if you're feeling a little bit demotivated by life and a little bit down and you feel like you want to give yourself a kick up the backside, really, like I think just book the ticket, sign up for it, and then it gives you that purpose of something to do.
It keeps training really diverse as well. That's what I like. I love doing lots of different things rather than like jack of all trades kind of person is what I'm like. And I think so many sports, is when you look at schools as well, like they require a certain skill or like real dedication to like that one specific thing, like swimming or football or basketball, like, and then there's that you feel bad when you're not skillful at it or you don't make the team or whatever. I feel like this is just promotes a healthy lifestyle. It's very general. You train, you can do a bit of running one day, you can focus on the rower another day, like, and it keeps things interesting. So I think you sign up, the process to the race or the journey to the race will be quite varied in terms of the training that you do. Like, for example, if you're someone who likes to do a Barry's boot camp in the morning, that's still probably going to help you. Like, you can go and then go to Pure Gym and go on the road for a bit, still going to help you. Like, I think it's just accessible and it keeps day to day quite varied, which is why I like it as well.
Yeah 100%. Okay, lastly, is there anyone that you would like to hear more from in the Hyrox space that we could have on our podcast and speak to?
If you're still focusing on the Middle East, there's an amazing athlete and business owner and new mum called Debs. She actually is one of my best friends out here, but she has just had a baby 4 months ago and she competed in the mixed doubles and actually they won their category and they went 101. But she's very big out here, like in the fitness space anyway, and obviously like being a new mom and also training for Hyrox and juggling a business as well at the same time. Like, I just look at her and I'm like, oh my God, like I've got no idea how she's doing what she's doing. Like, it's incredible. So I think she'd definitely be good to get on the podcast.
I think most of the girls at Hyrox as well were running in her clothing brand. So she has a clothing brand called Original Culprit, and if you've seen all like the colourful shorts and strappy sports bras, it's her clothing. It's
everywhere. So
I'd have, again, if you're on Middle East, I love Garda. I think we spoke about Jess as well, but Garda is absolutely incredible, and she only started her fitness journey, I think, when, I'm not going to quote the age, but it was later on after having had children. And when you look at the record she's breaking now, like her 5K time, the races she's doing, the sponsorship she's got, I think she's incredible. I think she'd be really good on the podcast. And then outside of the Middle East is one of athletes' like biggest fans, Meg Jacoby, who has been here. She's good friends with Michael. She's like inspired so many of us. But honestly, when she talks, like, she's been here and she's given talks to us and she speaks to Michael. She has so much knowledge and wisdom. She's so inspiring in the way she speaks. So I think be a very interesting person for people to hear from as well.
She's just so humble and genuine as well, though. Like, I think people that are at top end performance sometimes get a bad name and a bad reputation, but she's like probably one of the most humble individuals like that I've ever spoke to. She's so lovely. So yeah, she'd be a real inspiration to get on. She was great.
Yeah, and I think like I mean, we had her on after when she won the world champs. We had her on the week after she'd won the world championships in June last year after Nice. But I think everything she's gone through this year as well with the back surgery and everything, she'd be really good to, like, it's very relatable. It's not that it's not that you think like elite athletes are untouchable, but sometimes when you see an elite athlete that goes through some hardship and they have an injury, like other people have an injury, but they still find a workaround. And now, like, she's just come back and just done the mixed doubles and nearly broken the world record. And it's just, like you said, she's a lovely girl, incredible athlete, and very knowledgeable. And yeah, she'd be great to get back on to talk about the whole, like, the journey as well. And it's cool that she's like, we saw that she'd been to Athlete, and did she do a seminar there or something, or just training
she's
there?
Super support. She was on holiday out here, and her and Michael speak quite often. Like she's like a bit of a mentor to him, and she was the one who offered. She said, I'm coming to Dubai, and like she reached out to Michael, I'm coming to Dubai on holiday. I'll come and train with you. We can go and run on Kite Beach. You can meet my husband. We'll do a session. And then she said, if you want me to speak to some of the members or give a talk after one of your classes, and like Michael's too kind to push for something like that or ask for something like that, which just shows what a great person she is, because she did that whilst on holiday, for the being out of the goodness of her own heart, and the impact that it had on everyone. Like people left just so inspired. And with so much more knowledge, like the knowledge she passed on to everyone. So yeah, and we've said whenever she's back, like, this is like, she can train at the gym whenever she wants. She had treatment from one of the girls that she's called Lizzie, sports therapist, who, by the way, amazing. She'd also be good on this podcast. She treated Meg while she was over here, and I think they might be working together in the future as well for some of her other races, which is really cool. So yeah, no, really great person actually. And she gave advice to Michael, for example. She said to Michael, like, the biggest issue you're going to have now is like the Elite 15, which is obviously Michael's goal. They're spending like they're training like 25 hours a week. It's their sole focus. They are full-time athletes. Michael's running the gym. He's managing a community. He has one-on-one PTs. He has online clients. He's doing so much. Like when the towels run out or there's issues with the showers, when the showers are gone cold, Michael's the one being called, having to sort it out. And then obviously everything else that comes with running a business in terms of staff. And that's why he's super, like, Bre was the first hire, and he says all the time, like, it was the best decision. He actually put that on his Instagram the other day, didn't he? Best decision I ever made was, I'm going to take it as being second best decision after asking me to marry him. I think in the context of the business.
Best question to you, Dom, and then the best hire. Oh man, I think that's a good place to finish, I think, before we we go too much further. Poor Michael, he's not here to defend himself. Girls, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for an insight into, like, firstly, just Dubai and the Middle East and everything that's going on here. Obviously, we've only been here at 8 weeks maybe now, so we're just getting a taste of it. So it's great to hear. And I know people back home probably like want to hear more, and like anyone that hasn't visited Dubai, it's obviously coming up quite a lot in the fitness scene. So it's nice to hear a bit more from two people that have been here a while. It's great to hear about the community and building a community, and like we've seen it firsthand, and actually just listening to you talk about like how big it is. I couldn't quite appreciate just like how big the community and how strong the community is, and I know it's only gonna grow. So thank you very much. For anyone that's like been listening and is now like, I want to come to Dubai, I want to go and see train at Athlete, I want to watch what Bre and and Dominique are doing in their next races, where can everyone find like you girls independently and Athlete? Could you give us like a bit of a lowdown on where the best place is to find you guys?
Yeah, probably Instagram. I've got an Instagram, Balanced with Bre, which is my online coaching platform, but it's also just where I generally post about my life and just everything to do with like, living in Dubai and just being who I am, I guess. So that's the best place to find me.
Yeah, I mean, my Instagram, you can see me jumping out of planes as well. Dominique Olivia, I think _. But Athlete Fitness as well. Give Athlete Fitness a follow. And the gym itself is really conveniently located. A lot of people, I think, when they come to Dubai, think they need to be on the Palm, which is a great place to be. But I think sometimes when you're on the Palm, you keep yourself on the Palm. There's nothing wrong with that if you're coming on holiday with like getting an Airbnb and like downtown or anywhere, in fact, because then you'll get out and about, and you will go to the different gyms, you will go to different restaurants, and you can always do pool days, as they're called. You just go to a hotel and use their pool for the day. That's a big thing over here. But the gym is based in a place called Al Quoz, which is
right in the middle of everything, basically. Yeah. It's literally just central to everything. There's a joke, like, I feel like Al Quoz is just 20 minutes away from everywhere.
Yeah.
I was about to say that. I feel like everywhere in Dubai is 20 minutes. Yeah. And there's loads of really good coffee shops and bakeries and cafes around Al Quoz as well, isn't there?
Yeah, you should try bakery, actually, if you girls. Yeah,
we've been many a time. I'm addicted. I think everybody else goes, don't they? The other day we went during Ramadan, and it was great because it was quite empty. And then we went the other day and they were like, 45 minutes. We were like, what now?
Yeah. It's okay, we'll just get a takeaway.
Yeah. Delivery is also great in Dubai. Another reason to love life out here. You can get anything on delivery, can't you?
Yeah. So, yeah. Like literally, if you need anything within 10 minutes, it can be at your door. Like genuinely, this might be a nice way to end this. Well, not nice way, it's a bit gross as well. Like going for runs, we all know what can happen, like especially in the morning, toilet issues and all that. Was doing a long run in prep for Burj to Burj, had run out of Imodium. So as soon as I woke up, I ordered some on InstaShop, and within 15 minutes, quicker than it took me to get ready, brush my teeth, and in my running stuff, the Imodium was at my front door.
Yeah.
Gave it just enough time to kick in.
It's so true though. Like, I even ordered a laptop the other day and it arrived in 9 minutes. Like, it's wild.
It's
like,
wild.
Mental.
Yeah.
We're definitely not down with that. We still do shopping at the shop.
Yeah, the laptop one maybe instead of the Imodium one.
That was a better example.
Well, yeah, on that note, thank you so much to everyone that's been listening. Please, go and follow the girls. Check out Athlete. If you're in Dubai, you can easily go and join like one of their sessions. We did it when we first rocked up. We just went and did a drop-in session. And girls, thank you so much for sharing like all your experience and for everything that you guys are doing to build the community and get people involved in fitness.
Thank you for having us.
Another thing as well, obviously, if you don't live in Dubai, Bre and Michael and also Liam, they do online coaching as well. So you can access their expertise and their training and programming from afar. And actually, each of them have got plenty of clients who are based in the UK as well.
Yeah, so international clients. So if anyone wants a taste of Athlete, but they can't access Athlete, then you know where to go. Perfect.
Well, that is a really good point. That's probably better to end on than the Imodium. We'll use that. Thanks to everybody that's been listening. We'll bring another awesome episode back to you soon next week. And please share this on your socials and give us a cheeky subscribe or follow. It helps us grow the show, which means we can get more awesome guests on. And we'll see you on the next episode.